hit record. Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. I know we still are filtering in, but I thought I'd start with some welcome and announcements. It's lovely to see you in this once again. I think we're starting to get the hang of this virtual gathering concept now that we have a few different things happening each week. It's lovely to see you all. Welcome, members and visitors and guests, to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of the Catskills. Whomever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. We will be meeting every Sunday in this virtual space, and I invite you to join us whenever you can and to tell your friends if they'd like to come too. If you don't know much about Unitarian Universalism, we are a liberal religious faith that carries no creed and welcomes all seekers into our fold. We are guided by 7 principles and 6 sources that encompass the many ways we come to know and understand the world and even the divine. At UU Catskills, we affirm that Black Lives Matter. We are a welcoming congregation for members of the LGBTQ community. We are a congregational affiliate of the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network, and we are active voices in an effort to address climate change. Thank you all for being here this morning. As I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm going to ask everyone to stay muted during the service. There will be times when we are going to share using the chat box. I also encourage you, since you're in the comfort of your own home, to you can chat with the person next to you, and I want you to sing. I want you to sing loudly, even though your mute button is on. Sing at home, share your voices. As I joked last week, on this beautiful day, we can open our windows and let all our neighbors hear our UU hymns and enjoy that. If you aren't used to it yet, you can toggle between speaker view or gallery view. Speaker view will mean you'll see a lot of my big face because I'm going to do a lot of talking. And if you do gallery view, you can scroll through and see all of our people together. We are up to 64. We'll see. Some people said they were having a little trouble with the link. But hopefully they'll figure it out. At the close of service, I invite everyone to stay for virtual coffee hour. We'll go into breakout rooms and have some chat time, some catch-up time. Again, all the music and videos today are used with permission. We are not in violation in any way. We hope not. And just so to remind you a few things this week, you can join us today and every Sunday at 2 o'clock for Kundalini Yoga. This week, I've added a online lunch with Reverend L on Tuesday at noon, where we can have a meal virtually, share lunch somehow, and chat and catch up. And then continuing every Thursday, 9:30, join me for Brewed Awakenings, where we drink our warm beverage of choice with some reflective theological conversation. And then every Thursday evening, 7 o'clock, is our bedtime story. If you visit uucatskills.org or our Facebook page, you can find out all the details and get all the links. If for some reason you are not on our mailing list yet, you can add it to the chat box or send an email to uuccoffice@gmail.com and we will add you. If it goes to the chat box, that's great because the chat gets recorded and I can go through and find addresses. Given today's theme, which is our first of 2 Earth Day services, I want to remind everyone that we will have a special service Wednesday around 5 p.m. via Zoom, an interfaith Earth Day service where other members of the clergy from around Ulster County and a handful of my young adult activists from Vassar College will be joining us for an Earth Day service. Oh yeah, and we're pleased to have Dennis Yeary. You all remember Dennis, our piano player at the Jazz Brunch, who's gonna open the service with some Native American flute. So if that doesn't get you there, I don't know what will. And Peter, remind me that I wanna see if someone from your organization would like to offer something. So I will send you a note. Thank you. Oh, and we're starting a book club, thanks to Donna Schlockman's reminder. We are going to read So You Want to Talk About Race. It was supposed to be the Kingston Reads choice, which is making it harder, I think, for people to meet. So we decided to do it as a UUCC congregational read, but whoever's interested. So far we have 5 or 6 people signed up. If you are interested, send an email to Lori in the office with your name. I am going to call Jesse at Postmark Books in Rosendale because I registered my book club there, and he will do a bulk order for us at a discount, and then they can be delivered, or I think he's doing a Dropbox pickup like outside the shop. I'm not sure what's happening these days, but if we want to order the book in bulk, that's a hard thing to say, book in bulk. It's kind of like Irish wristwatch. I don't know. So if you want that, then please send an email as soon as possible, and Donna and others will, Lori is going to help organize this, and I'll get information on ordering the book. So this month, the theme has seemed to be emerging. I didn't plan this, but it's working out this way. How do we not return to normal? And last week we questioned the role of empire and how to be more Jesus-like in our efforts to undo the dehumanizing practices of empire. And this week we will turn our focus to planet Earth. So I invite you all to take a deep breath, settle in, and be present in this time apart from time. Our opening words this morning come from the Reverend Lynn Harrison. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world, we join together this day with loving hearts, hands, and minds, embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth. We light a fire of sustaining hope, ever bright with love and justice. May we bring forth this day new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world, not of wealth, but well-being, a new world of new peace and abundance for all. As we give thanks for this earth, our shared and singular home, may we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care. Rising to the calls deep within us and all around us, may we respond today and always with courage and with love. Come, let us worship together. And we'll begin with our unison affirmation. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected in wonder and joy to mystery and miracle in the universe, in this community, and in each other. And for those of you who are visiting, you may not know, but the start of every Unitarian Universalist gathering, we light a chalice, which is the symbol of our faith. I'm going to light a chalice in my home. I ask you all, if you have a candle handy or a chalice of any kind, that you too light your chalice. And in the chat box, you can write where you're lighting your chalice, and we can see who is with us today. And then we'll say our chalice lighting words. We light this chalice in grateful, loving community. Even in the darkest of times, may its flame light paths to courage, justice, and hope. Okay. A few more people trickling in. Good, good. All right, we're going to sing a little. It's an easy one that I hope everyone's know. Oh, but wait, let's keep seeing who we're lighting. Oh, good. We've got Kingston, Woodstock. I have to make my Milan joke, Milan every week. Thank you, Kathy, for that. My friend Jamie from Seattle, Shokan, Atlanta, Taganic, Glasgow Turnpike, Hurley, Newport, another Hurley, Rhinebeck. Who else do we see? Germantown. It's nice. Thank you all. All right, we're going to sing Come, Come, Whoever You Are. I tried to rearrange my little setup here today. We'll see. And the kids should recognize this is the version we do at our Friday night family gatherings that we haven't been able to do in a while. So I brought it out, and Henry just put the lyrics in the chat box, but most of you know this one. And I would like to encourage you to sing, like I said, loud and proud. And if you're so inclined and moved with your housemates, whoever they may be, if you want to make it around, then have at it. I can't tell if you screw up, so we'll just sing it a few times and just enjoy it. If you want to get up and move around like we do when we're with the kids, you can do that as well. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come one more time. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Something in my throat. Thank you. Well, that was fun. I hope you all enjoyed that. We're going to do our story for all ages. I made it into a slideshow based on an experience we had at Bedtime Story. Oh, and kiddos, I forgot to mention, how could I forget this? We're going to do Children's Chapel at noon today, but I think the families already know that. You're going to join with Jane. So we're going to read this book today called We Are Water Protectors. I don't know if anyone's pretty new. I think it just came out a couple of months ago. I ordered it and waited for it to come. But I'm going to put a slideshow on. Let's see what kids we have. I know I saw Austin come in. I thought I saw Amel and Liesel come in. Jake is maybe around. Trying to do a quick scroll, see if there's any other. Liam, I believe, is here today. Hi, girls. There you are. Let's see who else. Okay. Well, let's start our screen share. And I guess I have to do this one until I can go like that. There we go. Okay. We are water protectors. Written by Carol Lindstrom with illustrations by Michaela Goad. Water is the first medicine, Nokomis told me. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body as it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's rhythm runs through my veins, runs through my people's veins. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land, spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together. To stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes, the earth. We are all related. Tears like waterfalls string down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water has its own spirit, Nokomis told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life. Now, I don't know if anyone notices some of the images in here, but you see that there's a sign about the Dakota Access Pipeline. There's a protest for protecting sacred native lands. So it's a pretty timely book. And the author talks in the end about how she relates it to her own Ojibwe culture, where women are the protectors of the water and men are protectors of the fire. And that is why she said she felt compelled to speak for the water through this story. Humans, she says, have been mistreating Mother Earth for millennia, and indigenous peoples have long acted as stewards of the planet, giving a voice to our silent home. She's inspiring all of us to become water protectors. And I'm sorry, but oh gosh, why is my computer? Haha, sorry, I'll talk to myself. There we go. Okay. My mouse disappeared for a while there. All right, I'm gonna invite everyone now as we think about the words of that story and our time together to Settle in for our time for contemplation and compassion. Maybe put your feet on the floor, feel your spine, feel your body in alignment. Take a deep breath. It says, I am here. And another as we enter into this moment for contemplation and reflection. Every religious tradition has a version of giving us time and space from the midst, or a breath, a respite from our daily madness, to pause, to breathe, to give thanks, to count our blessings, to honor our feelings, and to acknowledge our place in the universe, and hopefully to connect with something that is greater than us. Let's take another breath and hit pause. I ask you to take a moment to reflect on the sadnesses you are carrying today. What concerns are making your heart hurt? If you'd like to share something, you can put it in the chat box. As you know, the chat gets recorded, and I use this as a way of staying connected with all of you. I also do my best to read some aloud if I can. So as you're breathing and listening to your heart and your feelings and your sadness and woes, know that you can put them into the space in whatever form, and we are here with you. I know we will continue to be worried about the state of our nation and other nations around the world as we travel through this COVID-19 challenge. We carry worry about doctors and nurses, chaplains, and other hospital and medical staff who are doing their best to care for the ill and their families. I know many of us feel the challenge of losing jobs, income. I see sadness and anger about the fact that our president is void of compassion. I second that feeling. Cheryl's sadness for another anniversary of Dave's memorial service. Some worry about not knowing what the future will look like. When we'll get to see our children or family again, and grandchildren especially. And happy birthday to Jenny's son, and she can't be with him on his birthday. Thinking of a friend of mine who's hospitalized in Los Angeles with COVID-19 and in the ICU and not doing well. I want to send prayers to him and his family. Yes, there's worry about things opening up before they're ready and seeing a second wave. Right now we're sharing our worries and sorrows, but in a moment we will transition into joys and blessings. Let's take a deep breath and honor that we are feeling sad and worried, and that is totally normal and totally part of the experience and acceptable. Feeling sorrow for the world, for people who are unhoused in this situation, for people who can't find the food they need to feed their families. Let's carry all these woes in our hearts. And now I'd like us to transition, especially now when we are carrying so much, to think about a joy or the blessings in your life. I think I mentioned last week that I keep a list of people I'm praying for and a list of my blessings, so it reminds me to be grounded. I see gratitude to be able to connect with family and friends via video chat. Blessings for clean air. Grateful for church bells in the distance and blossoming trees and flowers. For hopefulness for new love and new friendships. The earth healing. Having family who can help buy groceries for you. New gardens for healing. For the baby birds. And the new life we see everywhere. A time like this where we can learn new spiritual practices. For sunshine, bird song. All the activity out in nature. For strong local leadership. Amel is excited for paint and paper and grateful that she can do art. I like that. And oh gosh, is that you, Melissa? Wow. And music, gratitude for music. And we hear thankfulness for being able to connect more and more with people now in this time than sometimes we could when we were hanging out at, we had our sanctuary. I'm grateful for our Thursday morning brood awakenings too. I feel like that's a nice way we get to connect, and all these other groups that are blossoming as a result. So as you move through your week, remember these blessings with your sorrows. One does not override the other, or maybe they do in reverse. Maybe our blessings help us put our sorrows into perspective. But we carry all these feelings. We carry them all in community because we care about one another. Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, help us to honor all the feelings we are feeling. The worry, the hope, the fear and the joy, the distance and the connection. During this time, may we be reminded that we are not alone, that we may find ways to work together, that we may be physically distant, but we are emotionally and spiritually connected. Remind us to use this time to take a pause, to learn to be okay, to count our blessings, and to offer those who need support that support. Remind us that there are those who have less and need more, and may we offer what we can to them. Help us to live deeply into our UU values, remembering the interconnected web of all life. Remind us that we are part of something greater, that we are in this together, and that we are surrounded by love. Amen. I invite you all now to sing Spirit of Life. I'm putting the words up on the screen. Wrong screen. I will play it on the piano. I invite everyone now to think about the ways we give. We have some very good news to share at the end of service about your generosity, but I want to remind everyone that UU Catskills functions because we all take part in it in a variety of ways. And right now, more than ever, we need to remember to dig deeply and live into our generosity. Our half plate collection for the rest of the month is to support the Radio Kingston Community Fund, which you may or may not be aware of is offering financial support to people who live in the Kingston area. And we know we have a lot of folks in need. Catherine is going to play us some music while I find her. Oh, there she is, I'm sorry. And I'm gonna put a slide, keep this slide up if that's okay. I'm gonna mute myself. And Karma also will put in the chat box ways you can give and keep supporting the work and witness of UU Catskills. Thank you, Catherine. I am going to unshare. Okay, our reading this morning is an excerpt from Wendell Berry's book, The Spirituality of the Earth. The spirituality of the earth refers to the quality of the earth itself, not a human spirituality with special reference to the planet Earth. Earth is the maternal principle out of which we are born and from which we derive all that we are and all that we have. We come into being in and through the earth. Simply put, we are earthlings. The earth is our origin, our nourishment, our educator, our healer, our fulfillment. At its core, even our spirituality is earth-derived. The human and the earth are totally implicated, each in the other. If there is no spirituality in the earth, then there is no spirituality in ourselves. Not to recognize the spirit dimension of the earth reveals a radical lack of spiritual perception. We see this lack of spiritual insight in the early European Americans' inability to perceive the spiritual qualities of the indigenous American peoples and their mysticism of their land. The opaqueness is in us, not in the earth, for the earth expresses an abiding numinous presence. Christianity's failure to recognize the earth's spiritual qualities constitutes a significant challenge for us. Indeed, Christianity's failure led to aggressing against the tribal peoples of this continent and the land itself with a destructiveness beyond calculation. Clearly, the earth as spiritual reality has been generally ignored by the religious spiritual traditions of the modern West. This alienation for the spirituality of the earth goes so deep that is beyond our conscious mode of awareness. So, you all pretty much know where I stand on environmental issues, right? But in case you don't, I'm an avid environmentalist and an activist that addresses climate change, and a true believer that capitalism and its attendant ills of greed, selfishness, and duality is the root cause of our damaged and maltreated planet. And as I said in September, and it bears repeating, humans are an invasive species, and if we don't examine the way we live, no relief from Mother Earth is in sight. And as if we needed more evidence of this fact, the pandemic, which has caused us humans to slow down, stop doing what we were doing, shop less, travel less, consume less, has provided us with startlingly obvious and visual data to show us just how harmful our traditional way of life is. With no air traffic and far less car traffic, cities across the United States and world are seeing an improvement in air quality. Los Angeles, famous for its smog, has had clear skies. Reportedly, the air quality in northern India has improved so much that the Himalayas have been visible in a way that they have not been in decades. Waterways, too, are cleaner and show signs of life. But no, there are no dolphins in the Venetian canals. And animals who have traditionally been forced to stay in their lane, meaning stay out of sight, are roaming far more widely than usual. Have you seen the photographs of the lions resting on roads in South Africa? I sure do hope that they are enjoying the break from us humans encroaching on their territory. This great pause we are going through can easily be interpreted as the earth actively asking us to change our ways. And it's high time we listened and answered appropriately. What can we examine and learn during this time of low human impact? With some introspection and reflection, how can our UU sources, principles, and values help us to connect more deeply with the earth? These are questions I've been thinking about for a while, and this semester I've been able to talk about them with some young adults as well. I'm teaching a course at Vassar College, one I was thrilled to design and offer, that ties peace education into science and spirituality with an explicit focus on addressing climate change. It's sort of like heaven for me. We have read and discussed perspectives on earth stewardship from numerous religious traditions. And as we've been learning together, we see that there is far more written about our human responsibility to care for the earth than there is about us being given the authority to use it, exploit it, and trash it. But funny how the domination idea is the one that sinks in. From our course readings, we've organized and discussed some big takeaways, bold foundational ideas that can help us all rethink the earth as not only the spiritual entity Wendell Berry refers to, but also as something that is not, in fact, separate from us. So let's start with disconnection. Many of us, for whatever reason, maybe where we live or how we were raised, can feel and or be disconnected from the earth. Perhaps we don't really pay attention when we are outside. Perhaps we hate insects, so nature does not evoke feelings of love and safety. Perhaps we have to work the land, so nature can feel like a burden. Or perhaps we've had limited exposure to nature, so that earth and her gifts just seem foreign. Or maybe for most of us, we just don't think of it. We take earth for granted as our life giver, our food provider, our resource benefactor. We have to acknowledge that disconnection so that we can actively work on getting reconnected. For many years, I taught environmental education in New York City, and what I really focused on was getting city kids to see and understand, and dare I say, love nature and all her creatures. I was known for asking all the kids I taught to go hug a tree or at least give it a high five or a fist bump on their walk home as a thank you for the oxygen. Paying attention and offering gratitude is certainly a good beginning. But many of us already do feel connected to the earth, right? So what comes next? I think we need to look at consumerism, especially the rampant consumerism and disposable lifestyle that is highly popular in the United States. Do we really need all the stuff we think we need? Do we really need things that are harmful to the planet, either in their creation or when they are discarded? Do we take enough time to separate our needs versus our wants through a planetary stewardship lens? I'd really like us to rethink consumerism. We in the United States are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need this or that, or if we buy this or that, we will feel better about ourselves. But it's all a trap that invites us to be consumers, mindless consumers, that distract us from feeling, living, being, and accepting who we are and how we are in relation to one another and all life. Disconnection again. But this time with great costs to underpaid and undervalued working people around the world and the planet. Have you ever really wondered what that cheap t-shirt or drive-through Starbucks actually costs? All of our actions are interconnected. If we say we value life, then we have to value all life, the water, the land, the animals, the plants, the people, everyone and everything that supports our consumerism. And then we have to ask, is it worth it? And this is what it boils down to for me: duality. We go through life seeing ourselves as separate from one another, from the planet, and from God or the divine, however you define that concept. We have to stop seeing Earth as other, as a resource to be used or exploited, or just this place where we live. She is so much more than that. We have to reconceive our sense of being separate from Earth. We have to shift our consciousness from use to celebration and gratitude. We must see Earth herself as part of the interconnected web of all life of which we are a part. Our focus this month has turned out to be what changes can we make individually, collectively, politically, and consciously. I ask you all to think about your pre-pandemic actions and behaviors and consider which ones you will not return to because of the harm it did or does to the planet. Will it be limiting disposable items like takeaway containers or plastic wrapped vittles from the grocery store or Starbucks? Will it be driving and flying less? Will it be cutting back on consumerist capitalist ways and being more content with who you are and what you already have? Will it be making a sacrifice or what feels like a sacrifice, knowing that it's a promise to the earth to respect and care for her? I encourage you, all of us, to do some brainstorming, write down some ideas, and then let's share them with one another. May we shift our focus from consumption to appreciation. May we honor the spirituality of the earth and all the gifts she gives. May we live more simply so that the planet may simply live. May it be so. And in the spirit of thinking about our planet, I'd like us to sing one of my favorite hymns, Blue Boat Home. Catherine is going to play it. I am going to share the screen because it's a lot of words, and I'm going to encourage you to sing out nice and loud. Again, make the neighbors wonder, what are they doing on these Sunday mornings here? So, see if I can get it right. Okay.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. A wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the ledge in wonder, casting questions into the sea. Drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of our heavens, in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbored
Thank you so much, Catherine. I could swear I heard you all singing through the ethers. Thank you. Before we extinguish our chalice, I'm going to share our closing words and ask you, so here's what we're going to do. Closing words, extinguish the chalice right into our benediction, and then we have a little treat at the end before we go. So don't go anywhere yet. Our closing words are two simple questions from the Talmud. If not me, then who? If not now, then when? And now we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of humanity, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. So our pledge committee, I forgot to put that up. I'm so sorry. Wow. Did a lot of work this year, and we have two special announcements.
Hi everybody, I'm Kristen Shara, President of your Board of Trustees. The magic of Zoom has allowed me to travel back to Friday so that I could mark the end of the pledge drive with you in front of our pledge drive display in the sanctuary, which includes the beautiful banner and our amazing abacus. If the shutdown hadn't happened, we would all have been able to share in the excitement of watching the number of beads grow week by week, showing how many pledges had come in, and watching the dollar amount progress toward our goal of $115,000. The banner shows our slogan for this year, Count Me In, because we knew we needed 100% participation. Well, I'm pleased to report that we received 87 pledges, which puts us at about 99%. And the total amount pledged was $106,000, $4,000 more than last year. Given the craziness we've experienced this year, I'm going to call this the best UU Catskills drive ever. The participation level shows that you got how important we are in your lives and how much we depend on everyone's help to keep going. There is no fluff in this budget. We will have to make some cuts, but we will continue to thrive despite the enormous challenges we are facing. The board is deeply grateful to Donna Schlackman and Paula Silby for heeding the call and stepping up to co-chair the Pledge Committee. They were both brand new to this and had to learn on the job, and it is clear that they were outstanding. Please join me in thanking Donna and Paula. We would also like to thank Karma Haas, Jane Riley, Jeff and Carol Ryder, and Bill Lindsay for their work on the committee. Again, thank you guys. When we can be together again, we will celebrate. For now, what I would like you all to do, if you are able, Extend an arm in front of you, bend at the elbow, rest your hand on your opposite shoulder, and pat yourselves on the back, because you deserve it. If any of you haven't gotten your pledge in, no worries, send it in. We'll make room. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen, for that wonderful message. And thank you, Pledge Committee, for all your hard work. And thank you, everyone who pledged. I love seeing all just the sheer number of beads on our abacus. I am so pleased that even when the world went a little screwy, we still stepped up. If you'd like to add to your pledge, or you still haven't pledged, of course, like Kristen said, we will take it. But I am just thrilled and so happy. And I thought what we could do is do a very short happy dance from wherever we are. And let's see if this will work.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and
That was fun. Thanks. Oh, and Karma just wrote that we've gotten some additional pledges and we are now over $108,000. Oh, God. Thank you all. Wow. And I do hope you realize when Kristen said there's no fluff, like we're not raising money for like, I don't know, sequins for my robe. We are raising this so that we can do the good work we do. We can provide music. We can provide, you know what I'm saying. I'm just overcome. Thank you for that news. And thank you for the video, Kristen, and for the committee, and for all doing some happy dancing with me. That was very nice and fun. So I would like to invite everyone to stick around for breakout groups. I did put a couple questions together, but no. Oh boy. Well, I'll just read them because I don't want to risk losing all of you. What one change can you make that will ensure the health of planet Earth? And then how can we support each other in doing the same? And with that, I wish you well to go into your week in peace with planetary stewardship on your mind. I invite you to come back at 2 o'clock for yoga, or for families to join Children's Chapel at noon. And I hope to see you at one of my activities this week, either lunch on Tuesday, or Brood Awakenings on Thursday, or Bedtime Story on Thursday night. I miss you all. I love you all. Blessed be.